I'm Carol Tanguay, and this is my wonderful husband, Allan Tanguay.
Hello.
We were in the other building at the very beginning, Pastor Salciano and his wife and 2 children. And we were here also when the Bob Carter Gymnatorium was first built. And Allan, you can tell them about our dinner over across the street.
Yeah, on Wednesday nights we had spaghetti dinner over at the old building. And we were all eating there one night, and they were just building this first half of the gymnatorium, as we called it. And you can still see the basketball things up in the ceiling. We had bleachers and everything in here. And they had just set the trusses that day, and it was very windy. And we're in there eating, and we hear this boom, 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 boom. And we go outside, and the wind blew the trusses, and they all dominoed and fell over, and some broke and fell on the floor of the gym in there.
But the wonderful thing about that is there had been workmen in here not 20 minutes before all the trusses fell. It was like the angel was holding them up until everyone was out of this building. We also had a bus service way back then, and we had a widows group, and Allan agreed to drive the widows to
School bus.
in the school bus up to Palm Coast. And when he came back, he had something else happen that was very interesting.
Yeah, we parked under the carport in the old church, and all the ladies got off, and the bus went up and got stuck under the carport. I had to get all kinds of people to come back and stand on the bus so I could get out of the carport. It was just a funny thing.
We also participated in a lot of the children's programs because we had a boy and a girl who were participating at that time. We also, all of us, have been baptized in this church. Carrie and I were together when we got baptized, and Christopher was with his dad when they got baptized. That was a really neat thing also. The church, when we started here, had about 50 people. And one of the other things that we had going was we had a co-op for the mothers, which is one of the reasons why we started coming here, because every week one of the mothers would take all the children and give the other mothers respite. That was a really important thing because all of us had small children, and we looked forward to, number one, gathering together, and then leaving the children for a little while and being able to go off. We started the kids Wednesday night program, and you were involved in the little boys.
Yeah, we had the boys, they were called the Voyagers. And our son was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I taught the boys. Now he's 45.
And I taught the girls. And we also were involved in Lake Swan for many, many years. One of those years, our son got the chicken pox while he was at Lake Swan, and we had to go pick him up, bring him back. There are a lot of people who were here that still come to the same church. And it's been through a lot of changes. We love it here now because of the praise and worship. We loved it back then because of the praise and worship. We had a wonderful Sunday school teacher, remember?
Marie
Ito. She was our spiritual mother, and we'll never forget her. Her and her husband Ken have long passed on, but they're not forgotten by any means, and neither is Sal and Kathy. We think about them. We've been to visit them up in Ohio, and we've just come to love the church.
Yeah, the church has grown quite a bit. Like she said, it was 50 people to start with, and it grew to a point that after we built the gymnatorium, some years later, we had to come in here for church. So that's why we moved over here. At the time, I was in marine construction, and I was able to pour the concrete with the help of some older men of the church. Out front, we poured that first section of concrete, and that was quite comical, with a bunch of old boys and me out there pouring concrete. But that was fun. We all had fun helping out, pitching in on building the gymnatorium.
And we had one other thing happen while we were here. We had one of our members, Bill Mudge, fall off the roof and break his neck. And he is perfectly fine today. It was miraculous. The Lord really took care of that situation.
I was driving my truck by at that time with a trailer to get lumber, and I saw all the ambulances over at the Alliance Church, and I didn't know what it was. It was him when he fell off the carport roof and broke his neck. I didn't know that. But they're still around today.
It's been a great experience, and we're just grateful that the Lord placed this church in Edgewater.
Yeah, we just call this church home.